am Todd from GoodCleanFunLife.com.
And I'm Tony Russo from MotionCity.com. And we're back. It's been 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 6 years, who knows? But all sorts of stuff happened. Lots of fun stuff to talk about. I finished my book. We have Star Wars that needs to be dealt with. And then Todd's been world traveling. So why don't we start there? Because we were already...
Yeah, we were just getting ready to get into it. This past weekend, we took a great family trip to Boston, a city that I've never been to.
Right.
What I was about to say is that I'm a city person. I mean, I'm not a city person. But it's like we always talk about when we make it big.
Right.
You know, when our little website gets discovered.
Right.
And we make it big. We're going to live here on the Eastern Shore and do what we do and then have a vacation home like in the city.
Yes.
Now, we've always talked about what in the city would be. You know, Baltimore, we're very fond of, having gone to school right outside of Baltimore at Towson, growing up in, Howard and Arundel County. And, so Philly and Baltimore were always in the mix. DC, maybe not so much, but very familiar with it.
Right.
Friends in New York, have always gone up and visited them and done other New York trips. Mm-hmm. But Boston was that one East Coast city that we've really, never have been to.
Right. And
really didn't know a whole lot about other than, Cheers.
Yeah. We went a couple of years ago. Oh, maybe a decade ago by now. That's how old I am. I don't know if you recall it. No, because you'll recall this. It's the BLD tour. We had breakfast in Philly, lunch in New York City, and then dinner in Boston. And what a phenomenal city. And that's like an old. It's like if Philadelphia and New York had a baby. It's more metropolitan than Philadelphia, but it's more cool, like hipster type cool.
Well, it's accessible. So of course we met up with some family. We went with friends of ours who were from the area. Our buddy Justin grew up on the Cape, so they go there. It was an hour and a half ride for him growing up.
Right.
And we'd spend time there. So we had like this sort of built-in tour guide, and then also we decided that we stayed at the Millennium, which is a nice redone hotel that is dead center of Freedom Trail and right next to the town hall center.
Oh yeah, that's where the yeah.
So I mean, and it's great. So we met up with some family, and Natalie's cousin Yvonne had a great comment. It is a big city that lives like a small city.
Yeah.
And it was evidenced by the fact that we were there for 3 nights, which was awesome. And because of the drive and everything, but we walked everywhere.
You can walk everywhere. It's a very walkable city. We did the same thing. We just stayed there for dinner and drinks afterwards, and then we walked around a little bit. But they had in that what's that called? The marketplace, I guess is what it's called.
There's a couple marketplaces that were right across from us. There's a new public market, and then Faneuil Hall.
That's what I was thinking.
And then right behind that is like a couple. They're like 3 side by side marketplaces.
Right. And so we were in that's where we were, and there was a fountain, a flat fountain where the water squirts out of the ground.
Yeah.
And one of my great memories is trying to run across that and do it and stay dry. Yeah. And I was I did it once, and I did it, and then everybody else tried, and they all got wet. So I had to do it a second time to show that I could do it anytime, and then I got wet.
Yeah.
But it was November, so it was not like it was cold.
Right.
It was a wonderful. Well, it's just a visit Boston. I mean, the Boston Tourism Commission doesn't need my blessing, but.
So, and it was funny too, because one of the things that we're recently doing because of recent events, I'm trying to figure out how to get back into the fun and lighthearted side of work,
right.
After facing a pretty devastating family tragedy, and that's all I'm going to say about it. But I said, all right, we're going to have the emotional awareness tour of Boston. And what better way to start than an incredibly strong sports town, and start asking them about their recent loss to the Philadelphia Eagles, the Patriots loss. Didn't really go so far. But one thing I really came to appreciate about everybody up there, first of all, yeah, everybody is a huge New England sports fan.
Right.
Whether it's there was a hockey game, there was the Celtics.
They love the Bruins. The Bruins are doing okay.
The Bruins are doing great. They love their Celtics and the history there. They almost beat the Golden State Warriors while we were there, which I think was a big thing. And then and of course the Patriots but everybody with all of that, I'm so used to Baltimore and Philadelphia. My friends, brothers included, who are voracious sports fans, they're mean about things in Baltimore and Philly.
Right.
Everybody up there that you talk to, I think they're sports fans first, and then home team fans second.
Possibly the Patriots have been doing very well for a very
long time, and it makes it easy.
It does, and the Red Sox, the Sox haven't been doing so poorly either. I mean, I can't imagine what it was like to live there in, let's say, the 80s,
right,
when everything was awful.
Yeah.
So it's really when you have a team that is doing as well as the Patriots are doing, and I'm a Jets fan, that does make me happy. It's really easy to be magnanimous. Like, oh yeah, you guys are doing, you beat us, you did. Yeah. Those Eagles, they got us, they got our.
Yeah.
We'll see you in November. Well, I guess we'll see you in February, whenever they play the Super Bowl. So but they're unreasonable homers. Like they're sports journalists.
Yeah.
Are homers like
unabashed.
Well, Bill Simmons is a.
Oh really?
Yeah, he's and. Well, now that you know that, listen to him. He'll never say anything bad about Boston unless it's awful about Boston.
Right.
So he'll say they should take the coach out and shoot him, or he'll say, everybody's blowing this whole, deflate gate out of proportion.
Right.
Similarly, Peter King with Sports Illustrated, he's a big Boston fan and a big homer that way.
Yeah.
They have a lot of sports journalists who've gone national and are still just like, yeah, we're really Boston.
Yeah.
We're not going to pretend. Why would we pretend?
Right. It would be transparent.
Right.
But yeah, so it was a great trip, and we were actually in Philadelphia for some work and trip before. And of course, as with everything that my lovely wife is involved in, there was a lot of food, and there was drink to complement it. And the North End in Boston had some great Italian cuisine. We had some great meals and a lot of fun. And then saw some cool historic sites.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw, having been in Philadelphia the week before, and then going to Boston, I kept making references while in Boston, thinking I was still in Philadelphia.
I didn't pick up on that.
I ran to the top of the steps of Town Hall, like Rocky, and
Did everyone look at you like?
As most cases, everybody just looked at me like, what a jerk.
Yeah. One of the things that I want to actually kind of get right to, I mentioned it in the blog, and I want to see exactly how I mentioned it. So can you talk about what work you were doing?
We went up to a conference in Philadelphia for WordPress, and it was just kind of came up quick. We, a couple of our sites for Good Clean Fun and in our GCFL productions, we do through WordPress, and thought it would be good to go up and see the folks who help us out with some hosting and maintenance and that sort of thing. And it was a cheap conference. It was not that.
All right.
I mean,
WordPress is free, so you can't charge a lot for the conference.
But what you got was a pretty well-rounded.
I mean, I've been on WordPress since right from the beginning. I've always been a huge fan of it because it was easier than what was TypePad. TypePad was hard, and WordPress was easy. And then there was the other one for like the Squarespace of the day. What is
it? For whatever this.
The drag and drop stuff. Yeah. I'm sorry. So WordPress is a very powerful tool, and you can learn a lot about it.
Right. Yeah. And so we were up there for that, and we took in like 2 speeches, and then we ducked out, and And we went drinking and eating.
Yeah.
And an hour-long conversation with a friend of ours up there about where the best pizza is in the city.
Right.
It was very quality and time.
Well, the reason I was asking is because the one social media question I have this week that I haven't thought about, but we should think about often and continue is what are we going to do in 10 years? How are we going to? I did a story this week on a couple who retired to Ocean City.
Okay. Yeah.
Lots of traction. Well, people are really interested. I'm celebrating my 30th anniversary. I'm getting ready to retire to Ocean City.
Right.
All of those things, I'm doing very well with that demographic and happy to do so.
Yeah.
I don't have a good plan for the next generation. My generation will I'll probably still be able to relate to, but relating to and reaching the next generation, there's more social options.
Yeah.
And approaches that I think a small company can handle on itself.
Right.
Have you thought about this at all?
Well, yeah.
How are you going to reach your kids? How are you going to reach my kids?
In terms of putting stuff out there for content, or I mean, I think it's tough. I think the way that things are going right now is is that sort of boutique mentality and creating fandom around your brand. Are you talking about for brands specifically, or?
That's I don't. It's something that I knew would be worth discussing. My insight from this morning, thinking about how, and again, it started as a vanity thing, like, oh my God, all these people read this, all these people really enjoy it. But my concern is, like, people are always going to come to Ocean City,
right? And
they're always going to need some insight into what to do, but engaging them in this way, where like the cultural aspect, they will get older,
right?
Which will be helpful,
right?
So once they get into their 30s and 40s, probably really just their 40s, I'll still be able. I mean, the 40-year-olds I'll always be able to write for, but how will I be able to tell them that I've written for them?
Right.
Because they're not using Facebook, and we are dominant in Facebook, which is only going to get me to my 50th birthday.
Well, I think that the older the growth in Facebook. This is not anything I've read recently, but anecdotally, the growth in Facebook is the older generation,
right?
So more and more people are going to be using that. As they get older,
Oh, so you feel like they'll migrate, like just like eventually you buy a sedan.
Yeah, yeah. I think so. I think Facebook
you'll want to see where your kids' pictures, and you'll want to see what's going on in the schools.
I think it's become the sedan, and the sports car is Snapchat, which I still, I have a hard time grasping as to how to use that and fully utilize it, because it doesn't have the same sort of analytical capture as Facebook. Mm-hmm. But people like it. I'm going to throw a buzzword at it. Is contextualized experiences. I like everything. Talking about. I just came across this article. I didn't even have a chance to read it.
Right.
But it kind of hits a note with what I was thinking about in terms of, you build that boutique, you build fans around that, and then you have people who are sharing their experiences in the context of. That they're that's more personal.
The guy who I'm taking over for was big into that. There's is it Vice that does that very well?
Yeah, well, I mean, they have some very sort of odd, more niche articles, but
But people they have meetups within the site and things like that.
Oh yeah,
they do. They are good at getting people to represent their brand for them.
Right.
And I don't know. And this goes back to the whole theme of it. I don't know how to do something like that without feeling ridiculous about it. And feeling ridiculous is being ridiculous piece of cake.
Right.
Feeling ridiculous.
Yeah.
Is different.
Yeah.
And I don't mind being out of my wheelhouse, but putting yourself out there and failing in that kind of way. It's like, you know, I don't care if nobody reads my book, but I don't want nobody to come to the party that I've very well promoted. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, it's not like, oh no, we heard about it and we're not coming. You know, it's not like,
right.
Oh yeah, no,
we're making the choice not to. Yeah.
We will not be seeing you at your thing. And I wonder how you can make it go at that. Again, organically, because if you don't do it organically, then people will pointedly not show up.
Yeah, and I don't know. Facebook is, is a ever-changing landscape, and it more and more is annoying to me, especially in the political environment, and the shame game seems like, at one point it was more about, oh, it's narcissistic, and but now it's much more about like the public shaming or the public outing of people. And what I always say to my kids is, there's so much more nuance to it, and I think they're taking measures, and of course there's a lot of other medias out there,
right?
Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Tumblr, the GIF making a return, which I've been talking about and been confirmed by greatest trends or trends of 2015, and some up of social media sites. But I think Facebook itself is even going the direction of having they redid their notes so that they're able to do more long format stuff.
Right.
And their video player is constantly changing and constantly evolving. Right now, it's a click here for more. It pops up in like a theater mode that YouTube has, and then there's all sorts of other videos at the bottom. So,
right.
So it's like within the experience, other things.
It borrowed that from YouTube, that stay here and
right, and just sit here and watch
all day. Yeah.
So I don't know if the answer is somewhere in creating content that appeals to those directions that they're headed in. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think ultimately it comes down to good content is good content, and you do it with a voice.
And that's what I've been thinking about since I've started to worry about this. It's like I can only do what I'm not going to, I'm not going to be able. I may be able to do more in video. I mean, I have some skill in video, so I
got some skills.
I got mad skills, but I'm at the end of the day, all I can do is tell stories, and get people interested in things that they may not have known about.
Right.
And that's the beginning and the end of what I can do. And so, helping them to find me, I'm going to have to, just keep plugging away and hope for the best of that.
Yeah.
So that was the.
I mean, and who knows what the internet is in 10 years anyway, right?
I do know, and I don't.
It's that chip that's implanted in your head.
Yeah. Well, there's still, again, you still have to put stuff up.
Yeah.
It's still got to be something worth doing, and I think that was the other concern of mine. Like, Coca-Cola has a Snapchat department.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
For small concerns like ours, we don't have a Snapchat department.
Right.
You couldn't even effectively be someone's Snapchat department, because then you wouldn't be able to do all the other things that you do at least as well, if not better, than Snapchat. And so when Coca-Cola inevitably wins the Snapchat war,
and everybody's watching their.
But why, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's no the only thing that's on Snapchat is Coca-Cola. And I think that's how people got. I think that's how younger folks got chased off of Facebook a little bit.
Yeah.
And I know that one of the things that we discovered is not only can we not be too addy, and we're not real addy at oceancity.com on our Facebook page, but we also can't be too
not addy.
No,
too obscure.
Too often. Like, you can totally post too often, and if you have 3 or 4 posts that go up in the same hour, even people are like, I don't want to hear that anymore.
Right. Yeah.
So that for me is tough, because I'm big into sharing. I'm going to make a better effort with their Twitter account, which I have, but I don't really use.
Well, I like the phrase chumming the waters, like big shares go, inbound or outbound links, you have to use sparingly. And then you have to put stuff up there that is non-promotional, that is, either educational or entertaining, or,
right.
Or not blatantly trying to engage. But, you just got to put stuff up there so that it keeps things rolling along. I mean, there's definitely no mastering the algorithms of Facebook, but it's just I think it boils back to just being like a good party guest.
Yeah, just try to be nice.
Telling good stories and being nice.
And being quiet, letting other people tell their stories. One of the things that has also been really effective for us, and we're very lucky in that we have a lot of people who like to share their photos of when they come to town.
Right.
And so I just have a cache of them, and they're right there in visitors posts, which you can see, but you don't really see.
Right.
And so I'll just go and I'll share one of them across, and it makes the people happy.
Yeah.
And it gets one of the things that I'm actually I'll ask you, because they're probably not watching the people I'm talking about. We have a number of photographers that post on the visitors site.
Right.
And I don't have any objection to sharing their things.
Yeah.
But I have an objection to the watermark.
Okay.
And I'm trying to think if is there a way to say that without?
Well, the watermark is the only thing that a photographer has really to hang its hat on,
well, there's low res.
Yeah. I mean, there is that, but you have a lot of photographers who are, maybe not as, savvy, in that, and the modern day of Facebook photographers, call them that. It's all, it's fake internet points, and you put it up on, oceancity.com or Good Clean Fun Life, and we share it, and it's like, some acknowledgement or boost or something like that. Can you say shy away from?
Well, for example, my wife wanted to share photos. She's like, I got this great pony photo. I want to put it up. Would you share it on oceancity.com? And I said, I share all the photos. I said, but not if they're watermarked. So if you want people to see it,
right,
then put it up watermarked. And we have several photographers who are using their personal accounts,
right,
to put up their professional photos. And it's not a dig. They're more than welcome to.
Right.
But what I would love to say is, I got an idea. Why don't you upload a low-res photo, post it as, maryjanesweddingphotography.com.
Right.
I'll share that, and you'll get a couple likes out of it. But we do make money from advertisers, and we share our advertisers. So if you're in a business,
right,
and you want to use our site to advertise, then there's money involved.
Yeah.
But if you want to just promote, hey, look at this pretty picture I took of a sunset.
Yeah.
I want to share the sunset. I just don't want to share the sunset with Mary Jane's.
Yeah.
And
you're still giving credit.
Happily, yeah. And what Kelly said, and I told my wife, you're my wife, so don't make me tell you to back off, right? But just every now and again, if she has something that she thinks is fantastic, that she'll share. She's actually shared just one since I've been there. But she said she got a little bump. She got a couple followers out of it, and she got a lot of views.
Yeah.
We always get a lot of views. She got a little bump, and some of those people, just continue to like her photography. And now on her site, on her Facebook page, she can put up all the watermarks she wants.
Right.
So.
Well, is it the same? It's the same like when you were at the paper. And is this a carryover from that, right? I mean, if somebody submitted a photo to the paper
with a watermark, it didn't go.
Yeah.
I had you take your watermark off for the photo that I put in the book, right? That's just the nature of the beast. It's just the watermark makes it look like I took it, like I stole it.
Right.
And that's the other.
So if you're happy to submit. So the difference between sharing a photo to your page and submitting a photo for consideration.
Oh, well, we have a contest. We have a photo contest.
Right.
And people can win stuff, whatever they win. Plaque that.
Sure.
so people can want to plaque that. And that they have to submit directly to the website. And again, no watermark. Or you're not going to win if you have a watermark on it. Why would you?
Right.
So, but anything that gets posted to the page without a watermark gets shared. And if I get behind, then I just stay up late, and share it odd hours, just so everybody gets a fair shot at it. But anyone who puts up a photo, happy to share it. And I talked to my boss, and I'm like, I don't mind sharing the businesses, but I don't want the watermarks. And I'm like, can you think of a good way to say that? She's like, no, can't.
Well, it's funny because I think about your background being with the newspaper. I've had some experience in the broadcast radio world, and it's one of those things like you can talk about other businesses, but when you're talking about Mackey's theme parties and they're not an advertiser,
right?
And somebody down the lane, actually Mackey's is a better example would be Bar in Salisbury the Warehouse has a theme party, and you're talking about that. But Mackey's, who is an advertiser,
you leave that out.
Yeah, like that. It's one of those things you kind of have to dance around.
And I think the salespeople notice more than the business owners.
Yeah.
And the marketing people, the marketing people from Mackey's and the salespeople from the radio station, they notice.
Yeah.
The owner of either doesn't.
Yeah. That's right. Because they're off in some far-flung tropical land at this time of year.
Right, but people will call us on it if we have two people who are advertisers and we post one, we better have another. If I post you on Tuesday, I better have somebody loaded up for you because they'll notice.
Right.
And it's fine with me. I think we do a good job, and I think that's my question is like I typed up a message, and I'm like, there's no way they get this and don't feel like I'm attacking them.
Right.
And what I think I'm waiting for is for someone to say, hey, how come you never share mine on the main page?
Right.
And then I can say, well, we have this policy. We don't share watermarks.
Well, why don't you? What if you put it in? I mean, that's the thing. There's no way to do it. Facebook policy page.
Yeah, well, we can put it in the about page. We could make a post, but all of that is aggressive.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be aggressive because I don't feel aggressive about it. It's just it's almost too simple to explain.
Right.
Like you would have to ask me. And so that's what I'm hoping now. We're getting more and more every day. So I'm hoping eventually somebody reaches out and says, hey, I've posted 10 things and none of them have ever gotten on the main page. Is there a reason for that? I think, yeah, there is.
Yeah. And this is it.
And I couldn't think of a good way to tell you. I don't want to hurt your feelings. And if they ask me, then I can say that. But if you get an email and it's like, I don't want to hurt your feelings, but no, you totally want to hurt my feelings. Otherwise, you can get your trap shut.
That's right. That's right.
So those are the quandaries that I've been having this week.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's content. People want to hold on to that and that sort of thing.
Netflix. Do we have time to talk about Netflix?
Sure.
I don't know how it took me so long to make this connection, but Netflix exclusively is selling content. Like, did you see Jessica Jones?
I did. Did you watch it?
So good.
It's so good.
So good.
Right?
And
you saw Daredevil too, right?
I saw Daredevil as well. And they're like, you know what? We're going to make such good content that people are going to subscribe.
Yeah.
And that's going to finance the content that we're making.
Right.
And that and a couple bucks from Marvel never hurt.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's become as clear to everyone that there are zero ads in Netflix. And Netflix is so wildly successful because we just want to pay for what we want.
Yeah.
And enough people are doing it that and so they are purely content creation.
Yeah. They're on their way to being a movie studio or a television studio.
And I don't think they want. I think they're perfectly happy to do exactly. I don't think they want to be ad supported. I think that they want to be. They're like the Huffington Post of movies. Mostly they do curation,
right?
Which is they take other people's stuff and they keep it to keep you busy.
Yeah.
And then every now and again, they hit you with something.
Yeah.
With something impressive. And I was thinking about how, like, you could just say this is an example of someone who decided to do something well,
right,
and believed that someone would pay for it, and they were right.
Yeah,
and they did some crappy stuff too, but it's not. Oh, sorry.
Well, and they well, it's we talk about the Red Bull model and that sort of thing. That they created their own media house and they're making standalone films that are going to be shown in theaters and that sort of thing. And nowhere in there, it's more about the content. We talk about Patagonia kind of doing the same thing and making a great movie. But it's sponsored by them, and it makes you appreciate and be a fan of their brand even more. Yeah, I mean, I think people just are willing to pay for quality stuff.
So that's one of the things that I hit upon, and I thought that would be good to at least ruminate on. Also, there was a joke that I wanted to tell you about Star Wars. That had to do with Netflix, and that's one of the things that started to make me think about it. One of my favorite comedians, Bill Burr, has a cartoon coming out on Netflix.
Oh, nice!
And it's coming out on the 18th. And so, are you familiar with Bill Burr at all?
Yeah.
So he's going through it. He's ranting about it, and he's like, "Listen, I'm not saying don't see the damn movie. I'm saying, why do you want to stand in line next to some asshole dressed like Boba Fett? Let everybody go. You stay home and watch my show on the 18th.
Right.
And then Saturday, you walk into the theater like a gentleman and you sit out and you enjoy your Star Wars. Stand in line." It was funny because when he had first announced it a couple months ago, I knew that he didn't know. Like, I think everybody kind of did.
Right.
He's like, "Yeah, it's coming out on December 18th." And for me, I'm like, December 18th? Who planned that?
Right. But I mean, it's a move to be able to make,
Yeah. Well, it's a binge watch cartoon, and I think it's going to be, if you get a chance to watch it, I think it's going to be a huge success. It's a 1970s dad.
Yeah.
Who, drinks and drives, and he's just very, very hand me a beer, son. Hold the wheel. and he yells at his wife, and the great one is he said he's getting ready to leave for the day. He's like there are two younger children. One is maybe 10 and one is 8.
Right.
The boy is 10, the girl is 8. And he goes, "All right, I'm gonna leave you guys alone. You're in charge. Anything happens while I'm gone, I'm gonna put you through a fucking wall." And he walks over and says, "Good night, princess."
Classic.
So from the trailer alone, it looks like it's worth watching.
Right.
But I'm going to see Star Wars first. I'll watch it when I come home. It's on Netflix. I'll watch it at the gym.
Well, I don't know if we got tickets for the first showing Star Wars. We have our Star Wars themed tree behind us.
It's not themed.
It's not really themed.
It's a Star Wars tree.
Yeah. You're right. Okay.
It would have to be themed. It would have to have something else, and they're like, "Oh, well, I can see that there's it suggests that maybe there's no suggestion."
It is.
It's a Star Wars tree. That is a Star Wars themed tree.
Yeah.
It's got Darth Vader on it.
Our family tree. It looks normal, has a nice bow on it, but the only ornament that's on there is Darth Vader.
Right.
So, needless to say, we're going first showing Thursday. I liked what you put in your Storify. Apart from stories of ticket holder executions.
Nothing gonna go. No, It was good. And I was talking to my daughter Megan about it, and she was saying, "Well, the reviews are out and they're mixed." And I'm like, "No, they're not. I mean, they're not out now." And she's like, and I don't know the answer to this. I feel like there must have been some press screenings.
You're right.
But then I also feel like this movie doesn't need to have press screenings. Like, no one doesn't know.
Right.
No one.
All it is some press guy who wants to get.
Yeah, he just wants to see it first, and I don't blame him.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to do that. There's a theater in Baltimore where that has press screenings.
Yeah.
And I always thought it would be cool. A friend of mine, Greg Mackey, who writes movie reviews for the newspaper. He's like the last guy on the planet. Like, he writes movie reviews in print in a newspaper every week.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That's pretty crazy.
Not every week, maybe twice a month, I think, because he doesn't want to go to the Thursday night screenings every Thursday night.
Right.
It can be a lot. But yeah, he goes to the screeners, and Matt Get the Movies. If you want to look at it, if you want to look at his blog, it
sounds interesting.
Oh, he's a good writer,
yeah.
and he's an interesting cat. And he
Macki
Maki. Matt Get. I'll send it to you.
Okay. Yeah. No, that sounds. Yeah, that was fun. I mean, I worked in the theater, and it was always, like you get the reel first, and like once or twice you have the staff. After the last movie at midnight,
we'll watch it next.
We'll watch it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I mean that sort of experience is pretty cool. But yeah, you're right. Reviews aren't going to matter.
No.
Although I did see the thing on 60 Minutes, did a piece on J.J. Abrams, and they're talking about how the studios will be disappointed if it doesn't make like $2 billion.
Will they be so disappointed that they won't make another one?
Probably not.
No.
But I mean, it's been, you talk about like social media and digital marketing, the campaign that they've run, and to keep such a tight lid on something that is so sought after, I think is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, well, I think that it's because it's in the geek culture, there's even more cachet to knowing and not saying than there is to telling.
Yeah, there's definitely, I've noticed on some of the sites that I've been on, the grassroots movement of don't be a dick and spoil the movie.
Yeah,
that's definitely.
We can't all be at the first showing.
Right.
And I may not spend much time on social media Friday morning.
Yeah.
For that reason. I mean, I'm not against spoilers.
Right.
I think I've talked about this before. I think spoilers can enhance the movie. And so what I was mostly talking about was, I don't think that there's anyone who would see this movie who's going to hear that it was bad and not go.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, who's going to say, oh, well, Mac at the movie said it was boring. Well, I guess I'll just wait till it comes out.
Right.
Or maybe you will, but it's not likely, Yeah. If you don't go, it's because you just didn't get a chance.
Yeah.
And I think everybody's going to have a chance to go see this movie. So
yeah.
Very exciting.
Yes, indeed.
And so, little happy hour promotion. Happy hour tonight is at the Holiday Inn and Suites on the Boardwalk. So it's
Holiday Inn and Suites on the Boardwalk?
Yeah. It's like at 16th Street. I'll be there probably about 5-ish. Happy hour ends at 6.
Is that the Coral Reef Cafe or the Coral Reef? And
I think so.
Yep.
So looking forward to that. Come out and see me. I'm the guy with the hair. This is one of those episodes I didn't make much screen contact because I knew my hair, and I added 20 pounds. We have to do something about.
The New Year's right around the corner.
No, the New Year starts today. One of the things that I did, speaking of movies, is I've decided I'm going to watch a movie every day while I'm working out. So I would have to work out for an hour and a half every day.
There you go.
And that'll be. I can't eat my way out of that hole.
Right.
I mean, I would have to switch over to Big Macs. So
that's a good idea.
We'll see if that works. But for now I got nothing else. How about you?
I got nothing.
All right. Well, may Todd give you the sense to live in a small town.
We'll see you next week at Happy Hour. Cheers.